Title. I leaned in to hug my wife. Her words at our daughter's graduation left me speechless. The day of our daughter, Emily's, graduation was supposed to be a celebration. A milestone, a memory etched in the kind of joy parents live for. I woke early that morning, suit pressed and shoes polished, heart swelling with pride. Emily had worked so hard, juggling her academics, extracurriculars, and part-time job. Today, all of that effort culminated in a single ceremony. And I couldn't wait to see her walk across the stage. Vanessa, my wife, was busy fussing over her outfit. She had that same meticulous energy she always carried into every event. I watched her from the hallway, marveling at how much time she could spend perfecting every detail. Hair, makeup, dress, accessories, before even thinking about the emotional weight of the day. I smiled, thinking about how different we were. She thrived on appearances, on outward perfection. I thrived on the moments that mattered, the quiet exchanges that carried more meaning than any ensemble ever could. When we arrived at the auditorium, the buzz of excitement was palpable. Parents mingled, siblings fidgeted, and Emily's friends laughed nervously as they checked their caps and gowns. I spotted her immediately, her smile bright, nerves barely contained behind her poised demeanor. I leaned over to Vanessa and whispered, "She looks amazing, doesn't she?" She nodded curtly, a faint smile tugging at her lips. But there was an edge to it, a tension I couldn't quite place. The ceremony began, speeches were made, and students were called one by one. When Emily's name was announced, my chest tightened with pride. I stood, ready to cheer, but before I could, Vanessa stepped closer, her voice low, almost stern. "Don't embarrass her today." I paused, unsure if I had heard correctly. "What do you mean?" I asked softly, keeping my voice calm. She looked at me, her expression sharp, and said, "I mean, don't hug, don't overdo it. Let's not make a scene." Her words hit me in a way I didn't expect. At first, I felt a flicker of irritation. After all, this was our daughter's moment, a milestone that deserved celebration. But then, I realized there was something more beneath her caution. I nodded slowly, letting her words sink in, and took a deep breath. I would follow her lead, but not without thought. Emily deserved pride, yes, but she also deserved authenticity. The moment Emily approached us, my heart swelled with pride. She was radiant, her eyes scanning the crowd until they locked on mine. I instinctively opened my arms, ready to embrace her in a hug that conveyed years of pride, worry, love, and admiration all at once. But before I could move, Vanessa's voice cut in again, softer this time but still carrying that unmistakable edge. "Remember what I said." I froze, caught between instinct and caution. Emily looked between us, sensing the tension, her smile slightly faltering. I forced a calm breath and stepped forward slowly. "Hey, Em," I said warmly, extending my arms just enough to show my affection without breaking the invisible line Vanessa had drawn. She smiled a little unsure, but leaned in anyway. And that's when Vanessa spoke, her words crystal clear, carrying a weight I hadn't expected. "You've done well, Emily. I hope you never rely on anyone the way your father relies on me." I stopped in my tracks. My hand hovered midair, the hug paused, and my mind spun trying to process the statement. Vanessa's words weren't just sharp. They were layered, critical, dismissive, and oddly commanding all at once. I looked at her, searching for a hint of jest, but found none. Emily, oblivious to the tension but sensing its undercurrent, gave me a fleeting, uncertain smile and whispered, "Dad." I leaned down, keeping my voice low, calm, and steady, because any sign of anger would only escalate the moment. "Emily," I said softly, "I am proud of you, today, tomorrow, and every day after. That's something no one can take away." Her eyes brightened, her smile returning, and she hugged me firmly. For that brief instant, the rest of the world faded. The judgment, the tension, Vanessa's words, none of it mattered. This was my daughter, and she felt my love. After the hug, Vanessa gave a short, tight-lipped smile, her posture rigid. It was clear she expected me to react, to say something sharp in return, to show a spark of indignation. But I didn't. I realized that some battles aren't won through confrontation. They're won through composure. My calm reply, my refusal to let her words dictate my emotions, created a contrast she hadn't anticipated. Throughout the ceremony, Vanessa tried again, subtly. Comments about seating, casual critiques about how I interacted with other parents. But I remained steady, measured, composed. Each time I noticed her pause, a flicker of surprise crossing her face. She had grown used to reactions, to the emotional sparks that validated her control. That day there was none. Only my calm, my quiet confidence, and my unwavering focus on Emily. By the time the ceremony ended and the applause filled the room, I realized something important. The words Vanessa chose to use to assert dominance, to remind me of her perceived power, had lost their impact. My composure had neutralized the intended effect. I had allowed my love for Emily to shine brighter than the tension, stronger than the ego, and more visible than any attempt at manipulation. After the ceremony, as parents and students spilled into the courtyard for photos and congratulations, I stayed close to Emily, letting her revel in the attention she had earned. Vanessa walked slightly ahead, her expression composed, but I could feel the tension she carried, the unspoken challenge still lingering in the air. I chose to remain silent, calm, and steady. Not because I ignored her, but because I understood that my response would speak louder than any words I could force. Emily turned to me, her eyes sparkling. "Dad, did you hear what Mom said?" she asked quietly, a hint of worry in her voice. I smiled, kneeling slightly to meet her gaze. "Yes, sweetheart," I said softly. "And that's okay. Her words don't change the truth. Your hard work, your courage, your success. That's yours, and no one can take it away." Relief washed over her, and she hugged me again, more confident this time, understanding that love and validation come from those who truly matter. Later, in the car on the way home, Vanessa broke the silence. "You handled that differently," she said, almost begrudgingly. I looked at her calmly, my hands on the wheel, and replied, "I handled it with what matters most, love and composure. Reactions are easy, control is harder." She was quiet after that, and I didn't push. There was a shift in the atmosphere, subtle but undeniable. She realized that her attempts to unsettle me had failed, and that my calm had communicated more powerfully than any argument or rebuttal ever could. At home, I watched Emily place her graduation cap and gown on the shelf, small reminders of her accomplishments, her milestones, her journey. I realized something crucial. The moment wasn't about proving dominance or winning an argument with Vanessa. It was about showing Emily and myself that strength comes from restraint, patience, and unwavering confidence. That day had been a lesson in contrasts, between impulsive words and measured responses, between fleeting attempts at control and lasting presence, between superficial power and true influence. Vanessa didn't apologize, and she didn't acknowledge defeat. But her posture, her choice of words after that day, and the subtle recalibration in our interactions spoke volumes. She had learned, in her own way, that real strength isn't in boasting or challenging. It's in composure, in integrity, and in the quiet demonstration of what truly matters. I hugged Emily again that evening, longer this time, fully embracing the moment. I whispered how proud I was, how much I believed in her, and how much I loved her. No one else's words mattered. Not Vanessa's, not anyone's. That day was hers, and it would remain a memory of achievement, love, and a father who chose calm over conflict. And in that calm, I realized something profound. Sometimes the most powerful reply isn't spoken loudly, it's lived quietly, confidently, and unwaveringly.